Nice. What's up? What's up?
Man?
Dude, internet bugged out and I was freaking looked like Mike McDaniel's fixing IT right here.
Uh,
You saw he left his AirPods in while he's doing everything the whole day.
who?
Mike McDaniel.
No, I didn't. I do that all the time, though, dude. I go out in public with them in, and I don't even know it. And I look like a jerk off.
I mean, he's taking pictures. He's taking. Oh my god, dude, he was taking pictures with the Dolphins doing it too, like for their main account. It's like they get off the plane, he's wearing the AirPods. I'm like, come on, dude, take them off.
Uh, Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Awesemo.com. It is the NFL Strategy Show. First look presented by Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. We dabbled a little bit last week, but now we're in it. I mean, we're here. We're 5 days away from the Super Bowl, where the Rams are about to blow the doors off the poor, unwitting, unsuspecting Bengals, who have made it's a valiant effort and an impressive season. But this is where it ends, fellas. I'm not a Rams fan either. I just think that's what's going to happen. Anyway, I am Dave Loughran at Loughy_D on Twitter, LOUGHY_D for those of you listening in podcast form today, joined by Jordan Vanek, getting in just under the gun here. Some internet problems at Jordan Vanek DFS, but he's here. He's with us. And he wouldn't want to miss this because this is the last first look show we're doing all year. What's up, bro?
So it's going good. I mean, we did this a little bit last week. We got a little off the rails. We found out Ben's true feelings about a lot of things, but this time I got, I have a Showdown article that I'm writing for it, so I actually finished it. So I have a different opinion than I did the first time we did this.
That show was a hit.
That was a good one.
That video, I posted that video on Twitter too. People seem to enjoy that. We're talking about Ben Rasa at Jazz Raz DFS. You know him. Jack of all trades, master of many. What's good, brother?
What's up, man? Yeah, people know the truth about space now. So I'm happy to have that out there, and I'm happy to dive into this. I like the way we did this. We kind of formulated our first very initial thoughts. Now we're doing a first look in the sense of really formulating, at least for me, kind of how I'm going to go about constructing these teams, breaking down this game, and getting things permanently set up for Sunday.
I'll always show Justine, my wife, certain clips that I think are hilarious. It's rare, but like the Adam one where he was just hammered, she got a kick out of that. And then if someone has a meltdown or like loses their mind, oh, he's got to be like, babe, come here, you got to see this. Grab me my Jack. Pour a glass of wine. Let's have some fun. But I showed her yours and she was dying, man. She's like, well, he does have a point.
That's right.
I don't think anyone really disagreed with you. I don't think I saw one disagreement. Usually there's always the one asshole that has to pop his head in the comments,
No, they know.
The only comment there was when Jordan quote tweeted it. Some guy was like, I don't know why this Dave guy has a job. He's a total douchebag and idiot, and everything he says is dumb. So, I mean, I took the brunt of it, and I don't think I said more than 2 words in that video.
Aggressive.
That was just like way out of context.
Oh, I've seen that guy before. He just hates me. But that's all right. You win some, you lose some. Doesn't matter to me, man. Is my mic doing this again? All right, I guess it is. Anyway, while I fix this, let me throw this to you for a second, Ben. Has anything really changed? Any developments? Anything we've seen? Any new props? We do have some new props since last week, but anything different from last week to this one? We have plenty of strategy that we didn't get into still, but just a little preliminary question here.
So nothing has changed. I am firmly in the camp with you that the Rams are the side that I want to back. Kind of thought that initially, and that hasn't changed. It's not going to change, barring something unforeseen. In terms of props, I'm starting to dig into some of the obscure props that we really only have in the Super Bowl, like certain players to record a sack, total sacks, things like that. Because I think one of the keys is the Rams defensive line against the Bengals front. Normally, you can't really actionably do anything with that, but in a game like this, you have every opportunity to bet things that specific.
Hey, thanks, Will McNeil. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, that was a classic. The one of me saying the F word That's become like a awesome.
It's like a meme.
It's a
Yeah.
meme now. And I still am not sure what it's from. Everyone wants to tell me what it's from, but everyone was like, oh, I think it was when we had late breaking news. I don't think it was. I thought we dropped the stream, and then I wasn't told that the stream was back on as I was saying that. Like I thought we dropped a really big, like flagship type stream in the middle of it. Do you know what it was, Ben?
All I know was it was, I can confidently say it's NBA related because I wasn't there.
Okay.
So it wasn't the Sunday show.
I had the new studio and everything too. Like I had the new setup. So I really don't know, but yeah, it's become fun. I thought, El Negro Loco, I thought it was a stream drop as well. Cause that's really the only time I get pissed.
Maybe, well, yeah, I mean, my memory is shot. So
for some reason, I remember Tyler just being like, oh God, what do I do? I'm not sure.
Right.
All right. Happy to have you guys with us. Is my mic better? Yeah. All right. I can get a new mixer. Just lazy. But yeah, thanks for being with us, guys. This should be fun. And we're 5 days away. Super Bowl. The only thing that sucks, Jordan, is like, it's the end. Everyone gets excited for the Super Bowl. I almost get a little depressed with the Super Bowl because it signals the end of everything,
Oh yeah, no, the Super Bowl usually, like, it's one of those games where it gets so hyped up. It's 2 weeks of waiting, anticipation. To be honest with you, there hasn't been many Super Bowls that have really lived up to like that type of hype. I think the Eagles Patriots was the last Super Bowl where I was like, wow, this was a phenomenal game. Like that Chiefs Bucks game, it was cool to see Mahomes make all those throws, but when it's hitting guys in the helmet, people are dropping passes, and Tom Brady's just dominating. It's like, we could do somewhere else. I think this one will be a good one. But I think it's going to be a lot slower than like people are anticipating. I think that over under at 48, I would be hitting the under.
I don't remember that. I remember the Eagles game, but there's pieces of it that I don't remember. And it's not because I blacked out of sheer joy either.
It was like my first time really doing Showdown, because I think that's when they started to actually come up with those contests and make them more popular. And I 100%ed Corey Clement because I loved your RPO. And I thought like on swing passes, he would get a lot of work. But I didn't put Nick Foles to the captain spot. So that was the difference between me making like 200, 2,000 Xing or whatever to, now I'm profiting like $150.
I mean, Nick Foles caught a touchdown in that game too.
Yeah, no, he killed me.
Yeah,
that was during the time when they had a brief moment where you could play individual defensive players.
Yes, yes. Because you and I were hanging out in in California together. Right?
Yeah, I'm still sick from that. You wonder why you don't remember the game, because we both got deathly ill on the flight home.
Yeah.
I'm still sick from that, like 5 years later.
I'm telling you, man, you go to a warm climate like that, and then you come back to this hellacious 5-degree temperature or whatever. It was really cold when we came back home. Yes. Really cold. But I remember it was the Eagles Vikings, and then you had a sweat. You took down 50K at the same time.
That's right? True. Yeah, that was for the 2-gamer when Gronk got a concussion against the Jaguars. The Eagles crushed the Vikings.
Yeah. But we had the showdowns because there was the individual. They got rid of that real quick.
I remember that was like a brief moment in time there. And I know for me with the Super Bowl, and then we can get into it, I'm just glad not that, like, I haven't bet a Super Bowl really heavily because I refuse to bet. I hate Brady so much. I can't bet those games. So I feel like I haven't bet a Super Bowl in like a decade because he's always in it. So this is my first opportunity to really break down a game where I have no hatred. I like both these teams a lot. Quality teams, good teams. So that's exciting for me on a personal level.
Do you think there's any real edge to betting sides in a Super Bowl, Ben?
I mean, I think there can be. I think the biggest thing with the Super Bowl that I always find somewhat, I don't even want to say ironic, is like, it's like, oh, it's the biggest game. I got to make my biggest bets. And it's like, realistically, the
worst game to bet.
Like the UMass Lowell basketball game probably had more value that no one even knows about from last night. Like,
right.
Which I did bet, by the way. It's like, you don't want to force it. It's a big game. It's great to have action. There's a million props, but to say that the Super Bowl was where the biggest edge is wildly inaccurate. If anything, it's one of the sharper lines out there.
Yeah, it's just fun. Like you need to have action, but don't go overboard. Jordan, you're right though. Last year's Super Bowl, brutal. The year before that, Kansas City, San Francisco, like it wasn't horrible. It was fine, I guess. At least we had some scoring. New England Rams was horrible. Philly, New England, but then the year before that was the New England comeback game, which was insane.
That was a good one, yeah.
But the funny thing about those games is the first half was terrible, right? Unless I think a lot of people really enjoyed the first half though, because the Patriots were getting the shit kicked out of them, right? I mean, seriously, I think a lot of people enjoyed that. But then before that, you had New England, Seattle. I'm assuming, that was the Pete Carroll throwing at the goal line game.
Yeah.
So we actually had some
before I could bet.
The biggest blowout was Seattle, Denver. Remember how bad that game was?
Bad.
Yeah.
That was a horrible game, 43-8. But then before that, Baltimore 31, San Francisco, or 34, San Francisco 31. So we had most of them have been relatively competitive, but there have been some blowouts as well. So anyway, hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to the channel. And if you want to join, see that down below. Get the free super chats each month, the custom emojis. You see those sweet emojis down there? Only for you. And all the badges. And of course, we will always prioritize your questions and comments along with our premium Discord members. So just taking a first look at this one, I guess it's like a second look, really, Jordan. But if you had to build with one build in mind, with one storyline in mind, right? Maybe you're doing like a higher stakes single entry, or you're just running a bunch of single entry contests out there. What type of build, what type of story, what type of narrative? No, I shouldn't say narrative, but if you're telling yourself a story of how this game goes, how are you telling it, and how do you build with that in mind?
So I've been like piecing this game together through just looking at coverage data, just looking at how these teams are blocking right now and different things. I think the Rams are going to control the clock, and I think the Rams are going to win in like a 21-17 type of game where both sides have difficulty moving the ball. They start settling in the red zone. I love Evan McPherson in this game as a kicker for the flex position. And then for the Rams, Cooper Kupp's going to get matched up with Mike Hilton. And the last time that these two matched up, Mike Hilton on 5 targets to Cooper Kupp, he had 0 receptions. Not saying to fade Cooper Kupp entirely. He's playing at a much different level, but I won't be playing Cooper Kupp at the captain in any of my single entries. I'll be targeting Odell or Van Jefferson, who are coming in much lower owned at the captain spot, building most likely a 4-2 with probably getting 2 of the Bengals pass catchers, whether that's, Jamar Chase or Tyler Boyd, probably targeting those 2. That's where I've been leaning the most out of the story that I've been building with my lineups.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I think for my, the easiest narrative for me is that the Rams control kind of to start to finish. They put pressure on Burrow. He's unable to get the ball out. And unlike the Titans, Stafford doesn't throw 3 picks to mitigate the 9 sacks that the Titans forced. I think that's the easiest build for me. The running backs for the Rams is something that even now I'm still unsettled on. Seeing Sony Michel, he only had 16 yards, but he had 10 carries in that last game after being a complete non-factor against Tampa. So I want to see what that happens. And then there's the whole, and I don't even know if we've got clarification with Henderson. Is he not going to play? Is he going to chip in? Is he going to do nothing? So that's just another small data point to make out. So obviously the Rams passing attack, I feel good about. The Rams defense, I feel good about. The Bengals, are the Bengals. I expect them to have volume, but the running backs and Akers is right now where I'm struggling the most.
All right, let's talk about it a little bit then. With these showdown slates, you have to be different, Ben. But I guess the biggest thing here, and Mike, you can move that sidebar to strategy here. I guess the big thing for me is you've got like on DraftKings almost 500,000 entries, right? Across all of these sites, just insanely. Yahoo, our sponsor, $1 million prize pool, $55,000 or 55,000 entries. I kind of like that though, right? $20 entry, 50, not bad. And the payouts are solid. Management fees, 10%. Use that link in the description, by the way. Get a free month of Awesemo Plus, $90 value, $90 value. Everything on our site, all of our tools built by Awesemo himself, Alex Baker, not just football either, right? All of our sports, every single tool we have. You can get the Fantasy Cruncher add-on as well. Michael, throw the link in the description or in the chat. You can use the description link if you want to do that as well. They'll give you $10 when you sign up. I mean, seriously, no reason not to do it. The best payout structures you're going to find, lowest management fees, some may call them rake. Also that you're going to find $1 million prize pool for the big game. And you got $50,000 tonight for NBA and a bunch of other contests. They do a lot of zero management fee. They get a lot of winner take all, or not a winner, everyone wins. A lot of contests that pay out at a third or more of the field. Just a lot of ways to win and just have sustainable wins over there and sustainably build your bankroll. Use the link in the description. Get that free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. I figured I'd throw that in there now since we're talking about it. But Ben, that's a long way of asking, how do you get different in Showdown without being stupid, especially when it comes to the Super Bowl, where we know that these teams are already going to have pretty condensed roles as far as like a lot of guys that might in the regular season have gotten a lot of additional work just aren't going to see it here in the Super Bowl.
So yeah, the reality is that, you're still looking to minimize dupes as much as you can, but you can only do so much. Like the easiest way to be unique would be to pick a lineup that has no chance with guys that are not active or hurt. Like no one's going to do that. You'll be unique and you have 0% chance to win. So you move up to the next iteration. Can I take some guys that don't see the field a lot? Well, within reason, I think that Ben Skoranek, Van Jefferson to even a more extent, because he certainly will have opportunities. They're just not heavy volume, working into that, or picking some type of really weird narrative, like a 5-1 Bengals stack with something odd as the run back or things like that. Lineup construction, we always know leaving money on the table. That's become standard in Showdown. That alone isn't going to be enough. But I think it's those concepts that you have to drill into: unique players, unique lineup construction, and then salary remaining.
Yeah, and Jordan, I guess there is an element of like, being contrarian. There's a big difference between being contrarian and being stupid. But I think you have a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to Showdown slates, right? I mean, we've seen people win with 2 tight ends from the same team on a single game slate, which isn't the craziest thing, but a lot of times that's not going to work. We've seen 2 defenses win, one of them in the captain spot. We see 0 quarterbacks win in a game that has a high total, just, running through different iterations of what has or what could happen. Crazy things do occur. I guess what I'm saying though, is if you're not playing 150 lineups and you don't really have the luxury of doing that with all of yours, how would you go about it? It doesn't have to be specific, but is there anything you like to do differently normally on Showdown slate that has a shot of making you different, but also giving you a chance to win?
Yeah, I mean, with these 2 teams, like our ownership tools is where I would start. Looking at some of the spots where like you're looking like T. Higgins for me, just specific player here. He's coming in at 45% ownership, 10% as the captain, 35% as utility. In a single entry, I'm totally comfortable fading T. Higgins entirely. That helps you get a lot more unique compared to just eating T. Higgins and Cooper Kupp and playing it just generic or whatever the case may be. And then I look down in some of the lower owned guys that we have that are projected in like the say 15% range is where I would look for the utility spot. And like the Bengals defense at 3,200. Ben alluded to it earlier. As long as Matt Stafford doesn't throw the 3 interceptions like Tannehill did, this game will be not like the Titans. Matt Stafford has the most turnovers in the NFL. Like I'm totally comfortable playing a lineup where I have 3 Rams, 4 Rams while having the Bengals defense in it, because Stafford can always throw the pick 6, but they could still win the game. That 49ers game, he should have thrown 2 interceptions. He got sacked a few times. Like there's opportunities even against something that's technically supposed to be negative relation with each other.
Does he really have the most turnovers in the NFL this year?
I believe if you count the playoffs, he's totally has it, but he did have it tied with Trevor Lawrence coming into the playoffs.
That's shocking.
I mean, He threw more pick sixes this year than Rodgers has in his career.
I know. That's amazing, man.
Well,
It's incredible.
Right now, we have the quarterback who was sacked the most and the quarterback who threw the most interceptions in the Super Bowl playing each other.
Yeah, which kind of is what we've been talking about a lot. We had a question from where is it? I thought it was right there, and then it just disappeared. I just can't read. Michael Durbin said, could Mixon see more targets with the limited time Burrow has to throw the ball? I think so. We talked about it last week. I just did a video, actually, a same game parlay video on our Odd Shopper channel. Check that out, especially with the Super Bowl coming up. Check that out, where I'm taking that approach to build a same game parlay. And the whole idea was, and Ben talked about it, I think last time too, because he went Burrow over the 9.5 rushing yards. I went Mixon over 3.5 receptions. And if you want, you go over 4.5 if you think it gets out of control, because I do think Burrow is going to have limited time in the pocket, and this pass rush from the Rams can wreak havoc on him. Burrow over 9.5 rushing yards, because I think he's going to have to run for his life at times. And then the Rams minus 2.5 in the first half. But that's kind of fun though, Ben, those same game parlays, because you can be as aggressive or conservative as you want. And I said it in that video. Like if you want, I think it's under like must bet same game parlay video. But if you want, you could take the Rams minus 6.5 in the first half. Assume they're going to be up by a touchdown, right? You can take Burrow over 19.5 rushing yards. So you can get that to as long odds as you want, depending on how much of a blowout or how close of a game you think it's going to be.
The sliders are certainly interesting on the betting side. And I think, Michael's spot on with that. I think Tyler Boyd is another player that could benefit. Lower ADOT, quicker target in terms of what happens if Burrow is really pressured. So those, again, these are very small correlations, but I think the Rams defense and the concept of Tyler Boyd correlate a little more, because if they're really getting pressure and he's taking a ton of sacks, I think working out of the slot would be advantageous. So little things when you're building same game parlays or you're building showdown lineups, I'm going to, take those into account and try to paint those pictures. You just have to be in some ways even more aggressive, because it's like a 2.5, 3 times the amount of people in a normal showdown. So it's that much more.
No doubt. And I will say too, be careful if you're going with those plays, like with a Boyd. Just pay attention if it's full or half point PPR. I do think with certain players, it makes a big difference, like Boyd.
And click the right Akers. There's another Akers on the Rams.
There is?
Landon Akers.
Yeah. Big fan.
Yeah.
I do know who that is.
If you click on his picture, you'll clearly realize that it's not Cam Akers for obvious reasons. But I was searching by Akers and I was like, who the hell is this guy? Never seen him before.
Family man, James Harden, the Philly Loughy. I don't know, man. A lot of people are saying they think it's going to happen in the postseason or in the off season, but I think it's very possible.
Hey, man, you guys need to get someone for Ben Simmons. You just need to add a player to this team, because you can win a championship this year. This is a championship roster. You just need someone on it.
You got to add a good player. You can't settle for a.
No, I don't think you could settle for
Dinwiddie.
Oh no, we're like CJ McCollum. I think it has to be. James Harden, those rumors are true, and I think it helps both teams. I think the Nets would benefit from having someone that defends and doesn't take shots. Let Kyrie and Kevin Durant take 25 shots a game. Who cares?
Sure. I hear you. So, Jordan, we talked about this a little last week, but I want to dive back into this a little bit more and take a bit of a different approach than we did last Tuesday. At captain, and we have the top stacks tool, or the top plays tool, which is awesome for this. If you want to know what it is, you just have to read the description of it, right? But essentially, it gives you the probability that a player is going to be the top overall scorer, probability that he'll be the optimal captain, and all of that good stuff. Where do you see somebody? Or how do you approach value or low owned players in the captain spot for this week? Because sometimes that can make all the difference. The only problem is if it's a good value play, they end up being very popular. And then as we saw with Rob Gronkowski, was that last year? Yeah, it was last year in the captain spot. That won, but it was literally a 500 way tie for first place.
Oh yeah, no, I looked. So with that Gronk one, they changed pricing this year. They said we're going to try our hardest to not have duplicate lineups. I mean, Kendall Blanton as a flex is more expensive than Gronk was as a captain last year. So they fixed a little bit of that. So we shouldn't have, because like I shouldn't be allowed to say that I could play a lineup with Gronk, Brady, Fournette, AB, Kelsey, and Hill.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So this year, not so much. But with the captain position, like I'm looking at our top school or top plays tool, and like I see a ton of value for Odell, even though our tool doesn't necessarily have it. I think Odell Beckham, because if Cooper Kupp doesn't have the monster game but you're projecting, someone of this Rams passing corp has to be able to get there. And Odell has done it for them all year. He hasn't had a ton of yards this season, but in that 49ers game, he stepped up in a big way on multiple different occasions. And when I looked at, I looked at the coverage data, you had the Bengals gave up 65% of their yards to slot receivers so far this playoffs. Of those 65%, Mike Hilton only accounts for like 4 or 5. Mike Hilton's going to be lined up with Cooper Kupp. Eli Apple or even Trey Flowers are going to transfer over or go over to Odell Beckham in that situation. And Odell Beckham from the slot against those guys are just going to destroy them.
Who's your biggest fade for this week?
T. Higgins.
Who is your biggest, not super popular guy, but I like him? Like, is Odell Beckham that guy?
Yeah. Odell Beckham for me, from what I've seen on ownership, yeah. I'm totally comfortable playing Odell at the captain and taking he's like 3% owned projected as a captain right now.
I think that's a great call, Ben, because if we know one thing about Odell Beckham is, we have not seen him put up any Cooper Kupp like numbers in this offense, but he is somebody that's targeted quite often in the red zone and in the end zone. And sometimes that's really all you need.
It's tricky with some of these guys, but I do think that kind of how Jordan's line of thinking is spot on in the sense of it's what we've been saying the whole time. That's aggressive, but also possible. You're not recommending, the backup tight end as the captain to be different. You're just saying, okay, I'm taking, a stand. T. Higgins is a guy that, going to be pretty popular, has a big opportunity. If he fails, and then guys like Odell and some of them really go, you're going to be separating from a lot of the field. Will there still be thousands of teams that do that with you? Absolutely. But you're still only talking about a couple of players. So I'm going to try to employ that same mentality, maybe not with the same players, but the same concepts, a couple of big stands, a couple of different things, and then see where I land to iron out the rest of my lineup.
Steven asks if you think Ramsey will shadow anyone, Jordan. I'll tell you this much, and then you can answer. Zach Taylor does not expect anybody to shadow. He does not expect Jamar Chase to be shadowed by Ramsey. That was from his mouth. But
yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, so Jalen Ramsey, weirdly enough, to begin the year, he played a ton of snaps inside from the slot. And then all of a sudden, week 13 happened, and he went out wide. And then he's pretty much playing out wide the entire rest of the year. Jamar Chase gets moved around the formation. I'm not sure they're going to really do that just because if he gets matched up with T. Higgins, he gets matched up with T. Higgins. They didn't travel him with, I believe, DeAndre Hopkins, but they did with Mike Evans. But Mike Evans' situation, there was absolutely no other receiver on that team at the time. So it's just a lot different. I expect Jalen Ramsey to most likely just play a side on this game and probably mix into the slot a few times, but I don't think he travels with Chase. I think they're perfectly comfortable getting him on Higgins.
Who's your favorite captain that isn't Cooper Kupp or Burrow or Stafford or Akers, Ben?
So I definitely agree that I think Odell is pretty interesting. And then even though I like the Rams in the game, I'm definitely have some lineups where Mixon is just different. I think that's just a different way to build. You build that they can really run the ball against the Rams. Burrow is more game manager than really going for it. And Mixon happens to score a couple of times on the ground, low scoring game. I talk about this often on Showdown. Mixon, unlike the receivers, his points are, I call them like orphan points or island points. When he scores, it just benefits him unless it's a pass, of course. But if he scores on the ground, all those points go to him. There's no correlation to the quarterback. So I like using running backs as captain if I can.
Okay. I just hate building the rest of a lineup with that.
It's uncomfortable, but also I think people will agree with that, and that's a good thing.
Oh,
like
no, it's totally viable. I'm just saying, it's like if you're hand building, it's always because we're so trained to get that correlation, and it's
I think that leads to less ownership in the captain spot, though, because people try to do it and they're just like, this is ugly. I'm gonna go to something else where it's a lot easier to build.
Man, there's no way Harden's not getting traded. He went through shoot around and then he's just out already, ruled out. Something's cool. Brewing. I can smell it.
I love chaos.
Huh.
I gotta say, man, and we did talk about this last week, so I'll keep it brief, but I don't think captaining Van Jefferson is the craziest idea in the world. I don't like, he's been wildly underwhelming, and I've eaten a lot of bad games from Van Jefferson, particularly in the postseason, but he's not expensive. He is still a downfield threat. And I don't know. I'll be honest with you. What's he at in the captain spot right now? 4%. I wouldn't be surprised if he even comes in lower than that. Like, we have Beckham projected for less ownership right now in the captain spot than Van Jefferson. Granted, I understand the disparity in pricing, but is Jefferson an okay captain in large field tournaments where you have to beat, a massive field? I think he is. I think if he plays, I think Tyler Higbee probably is too, because essentially at this point, and correct me if tell me if you think I'm wrong, you're just with Jefferson playing for that long touchdown, maybe a couple long receptions, which hasn't happened recently, but it is doable. And with Higbee, you're playing for that, 6 reception, 2 touchdown game or something like that, which he can do. Is it improbable? It's unlikely. Yeah, but that's why he's not getting a lot of ownership, and that's why he's not very expensive.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Go ahead, Jordan.
I was going to say, for me, the difference between Van Jefferson and Odell is like, I think Van Jefferson has a better chance to hit the 100-yard bonus, if that says anything just strange, I guess. Where Odell Beckham, his utilization in the red zone, I think Odell can catch 2 touchdowns. Both of them are totally going to be in play for me as a captain. I think I'm probably 20 max. I don't think it'll be 150ing. I think I'll probably go with Odell in 8 to 9 lineups. I'll be heavy on him because that's just the way that I've gauged. And Van Jefferson, I'll probably stick to 3 to 4, be over the field, but I'm not really deploying the quarterbacks at the captain spot because I don't think either of them are going to do it from a passing standpoint. It's going to take that goal line rushing touchdown, which Matt Stafford seems to take away from Akers and Michelle so far this postseason. Or Ben Burrow, I think they just throw in the red zone so much. I don't expect it to be any of his rushing. So, but as far as Odell and Van Jefferson, it's a weird feeling where I think he can get over 100 yards more often than Odell in this game, but Odell can just catch 2 touchdowns.
Jordan, what about, and that's a good point. Yeah. Right. But the thing is, all of these guys aren't going to get there the exact same way. And all of these guys aren't going to get there at all. Yeah. Right. It's not going to happen. So just have to play what you think works best for you. And a lot of it's not going to work. There's a reason. And for some reason, we didn't have optimal captain percentages or optimal utility, percentages. But Alex is rerunning that now. I think we should, hopefully we'll get it before the show's over. We should, because I want to talk about that. But that's in the top play store. NBA ownership rankings are free today. NHL top stacks are free today. PGA top golfers. You got the strategy show coming up at 1?
I sure do. Me and Eric Lindquist, Waste Management Open, real good tournament.
Okay. Very nice. Thursday morning again?
Yes, sir.
All right. Beautiful stuff. So wait, is it running through Sunday?
Yep.
Well,
Every year.
Obviously it is, but I remember you saying the one tournament 2 weeks ago, they didn't want to run it through the NFL championship round, but they're cool running this one through the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they I remember many a years sweating Ricky Fowler at Waste Management and then watching other bad things happen on my team. You know, they try to get it done before the game.
I figured
on the
as
East
much, but
Coast?
sometimes it goes past
In
that
Arizona.
6:30 mark.
Okay, never mind.
Sometimes it goes past 6:30, right? I mean, I guess it's on the West Coast. So
Yeah, they'll go out early to get them out.
all right, maybe they'll get there. That'd be nice. Hit that thumbs up too if you haven't done so yet. Appreciate you guys always hanging with us as we close out the NFL season. We got a lot coming down the pike too. We're going to do a just more so fun, maybe a little drinking on Thursday night, 8 p.m. little ranking show. That should be fun. Ben, you'll pour a glass of wine with us, right?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Maybe 3.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. We're going to break down a lot of Super Bowl stuff, have some fun, shoot the shit. Friday, we're going to do a full out prop show. I can't wait for that. I think that's one of the spots where you actually can get a bit of an edge and an advantage, trying to find some of those props that people aren't looking at. You know, the Walfords or whatever team it is of NFL prop bets, Ben. You know what I mean?
I mean, you have every opportunity. If you do your due diligence, and that's what that show is going to be about, you can find props that are just simply under the radar. They're very soft and they're going to move. So that's what we're going to be doing. That is the biggest advantage of the Super Bowl, is that there are bets that you can't normally access.
D. Owens, what's up, bro? With the super chat. Michelle, Captain, and Rams. D. Owens, by the way, with all those 199 super chats, just get the just become a member. I'll just answer all your questions without you having a super chat. Save some money each month. Not to say I always answer questions from anybody, but when we have a lot more popular shows, it's and the chat is flying. I try and prioritize the team here. But he says Sony Michel, Captain, and Rams defense in the utility. Is that too crazy? Jordan, that was his question. And we probably should preface this with Darrell Henderson could be getting some opportunities as well, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously pay attention to the Darrell Henderson news. I'm not sure he really gets run. I think this might be just, see if he can play in the Super Bowl. He gets activated and it just ends up really not touching the field because Akers seemed to just take over once he kind of came back from the Achilles injury. And I think that was their plan to begin with this year and have Darrell Henderson more of in the spillback role, just play when he's not, tired. But as terms of that lineup build, no, that's not crazy at all. You're basically hoping for the Rams to control the clock and Rams defense to get the job done. I would more so target the Bengals pass catchers. You mean even Joe Mixon, who catches the ball out of the backfield. I would probably stay away from Stafford in any of that type of build, just because there's not many times where Michelle gets to the captain spot with him paying off, because I'm assuming you won't be able to afford Kupp if you get to Jamar Chase or Joe Mixon in that lineup as well.
Ben, one we didn't talk about, and then we'll get to some value here. I guess it's one and the same. Can we go Rams defense at the captain spot?
So you can. You really have to play for it's not my favorite build. I'll get that out right now, because a lot of people are going to do it relative to their chance of success, in my opinion. And you have to play to a kind of an extreme circumstance. You need low scoring. You need probably some type of fluke play, but the pressure is the key. A lot of sacks, a lot of opportunities. I get it. I think I would much rather play Van Jefferson in the captain than the defense. I'd actually be more likely to play Cincinnati's defense in the captain spot.
Okay.
Than the Rams, just because of Stafford. I think that he's more likely to have like 2 insanely crazy throws that result in something fluky. And I also think that the Rams defense will be much more popular.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, for me, I think there is that path where like Burrow gets stripped on a sack because they can't protect him. Right. And it ends up turning into a strip sack with a scoop and score or something like that. And we've seen weird games happen. Like, okay, so where is it? So it was the Patriots Rams. So that was in 2019. So it would have been the 2018 season. I wanted to look up the offenses that year to see where they were, to see if they were actually I figured the Rams, wasn't that the Gurley year? where Gurley got Jordan? Wasn't that the year where Gurley got hurt late in the year? They brought in CJ Anderson.
Yeah, they're still they were a top 5 offense regardless. Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
They were
probably top 5 in scoring. I don't know if they were in yards.
That's what I was looking at. Yeah, they were top 3 in scoring. But Patriots were top 8. And that game was what, 13-3? So yes. I'm saying all I'm saying is 2 top offenses in the regular season or even in the postseason can just come out there and have weird low scoring games. Super Bowls can be strange. I'm not projecting that to happen, but I think I like it a little bit more than you do, Ben.
Okay.
But it's not like they're getting no ownership in the captain spot. Basically the same as Odell Beckham and Van Jefferson.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not that I don't think it can happen. It's just evaluating chance of success versus how many other people are going to do it. Gotcha. I'd much rather say I'm going to eliminate a non-insignificant percentage of the field if this doesn't happen. And if it does, I'm out. That's fine. And do it like that. You can also make the stands the other way. And for me, I'd be more likely to say, let other people make their hero call on that and I'll go elsewhere.
Who is your hero call?
I don't know if I have like a crazy. I think Tyler Boyd would be someone that if I was looking for a player that I don't think anyone's going to go to the captain with, maybe someone like that. But again, I'm going to have to build around that because you can just throw a name out there like I just did, but now you got to work backwards. Okay, how does that really happen? What has to happen in the game for Tyler Boyd besides just getting super lucky? So I think there's names, but I mean, our tools will be updating throughout the week. If Odell really is looking like he is, I mean, that's a spot that I think is easy to identify as a good potential captain.
All right. Value plays, favorite one, Jordan. We've talked about what we can do at the captain spot. Obviously that has, some key differences to what we're doing in the utility. But if we are, because let's not kid ourselves. The only reason we're not talking about Cooper Kupp and captain or like Cam or Jamar Chase and captain is because they're obviously good plays there. And they're obviously going to get some ownership, right? Yeah. But if Cooper Kupp or if you have a Higgins or one of these guys that's a little bit more expensive, doesn't need to be egregiously expensive in the captain spot, how do we make it so we can still build out good lineups with expensive or mid-range guys in the captain spot? Like who can we go to here for good value?
Yeah. So when I was looking at the ownership projections that we have, you have your defenses, the kickers, they're very standard. I'm not a fan of Matt Gay because he's been short on 44-yard kicks this postseason. I've seen him I'm just not comfortable playing that guy. I've watched him just miss some easy kicks, but I like Evan McPherson. The dude's got a lot of swagger, but also he's just phenomenal kicker. And I think the Bengals are a team that, they're a 52-yard field goal getting attempts. They're going to go out there, send them out there on 4th down instead of trying to go for it. You got the Rams defense. Both defenses are capable, but for terms of if you factor in ownership, like Sony Michel coming in at 8%, I'm assuming that probably has some of the factors that Darrell Henderson might play. But if he stays sub 10% at 5K, I'm totally comfortable playing him. He's one of my favorite values on the entire slate. And if you want a hero call for this, I do have someone that
let's get it.
Okay. I'll be playing Chris Evans. One, he's a kick returner, and he's been getting 30 yards on average for kick return. I'm not calling a kick return for a touchdown, but when looking at the Rams, they've struggled with a specific route from the running back position, which is basically that Texas route where you see McCaffrey do it. You see, some of the top tier running backs do it. When I look back at some of the games this season, James Conner absolutely destroyed their linebackers on this route. And when I looked at how often the Bengals run it, Mixon only does it 3 to 4 times. He's not very good at it from what it seemed, had 0 targets. Chris Evans has 4 catches for 64 yards on this specific route. I'm willing to take the 400 in the $15 first place as a millie. Hope that he catches that towards the red zone and ends up getting a touchdown.
You guys want to build a lineup here?
Let's do it.
So I say we build one on Yahoo. All right. Sponsor of the show. Link in the description. Get your free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. You know how it goes around here. Seriously, if you haven't done so yet, one might call you odd because it's just, $300 value because you get $10 into your account as well. when you sign up using the link in the description. And we'll even expedite it for you. Like, for example, you want to play a little NBA, a little hoops action tonight, you sign up using our link. And then if you email us, support@awesemo.com, we'll expedite the process. We'll get you set up so you can have access to all of our tools for Yahoo and everywhere else by tonight. I mean, come on now. It's crazy. So let's go to Yahoo. And Ben, the reason I want to do this is twofold. One, solid prize pool there, $1 million, 150K up top. Just everything about this is solid, right? And then min cash is more than you would get on a lot of other sites, the big ones. Second reason is the build is different than DraftKings because you're not paying 1.5x for the superstar spot, right? Would be a captain spot elsewhere. You're getting 1.5 times the fantasy points, but you're not paying 1.5x, which means that strategy becomes entirely different than it would on a site where you have to pay 1.5x.
It becomes harder to make a crazy call at captain because you're not getting anything different lineup construction wise. You literally need them to outscore Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, and those guys. So I think it shrinks that, but same time, it also makes the captain ownership of the top guys that much more. So it becomes a game theory question at that point.
All right. Oh, nice. Perfect timing. Perfect timing, boys. That's right. We got the optimal lineup, all of that stuff.
Okay.
Adjusted for Yahoo as well. Okay. So salary weighted top score, we have Kupp at 22%, Stafford at 21, Burrow at 12, Akers at 10. Let's see, 2 through 5. Beckham's up there at 20%. All right, I'm just seeing what we got here. I wanted to look at some of this before we do so. So Jordan, who do we want to captain here?
So on Yahoo, obviously without the price difference, more often than not, Cooper Kupp's just going to be the high scoring. I mean, I know he's $41, but I think we can find a way to be unique. I think we can. I believe it.
Yeah. And just again, for those of you guys that mostly play on DraftKings, and you haven't played this format yet, maybe you are signing up on Yahoo, you want to get in on this. With Kupp, he's $41 if you play him in the flex or if you play him in the superstar spot. It doesn't matter, except in the superstar spot, he gets 1.5 times his fantasy points. So yeah, let's go with Kupp. Ben, who do you want to go with our first flex?
So, we've only put in one player. I think we can do kind of whatever we want at this point. I'm going to put in the Rams defense. I think that'll be nothing. We haven't done anything special just yet, but they're a reasonable price. It bumps us up $25 average salary for the remaining 3.
No kickers, by the way, on Yahoo. You do have defenses, no kickers. I'm going to go. So we have Kupp in there. We got 25 per player remaining. How can we get a little bit different here without going crazy? Well, you know what? Let's go with Odell. Let's go with a little Odell Beckham. Yeah, I'm going to throw Odell into the mix. What do you got, Jordan?
How much we have remaining here?
We're okay. We had 27 per player.
Holy crap. We played $41 at the captain. We still got 27. Wow. I don't like T. Higgins. Let's go with Ben's favorite player, Tyler Boyd. Let's do it.
Okay.
Even though it's non-PPR, I don't think many people will be playing him on Yahoo, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't think they will either. Half point PPR, right?
Yeah, it's half. But again, it's 17 with this type of lineup build. It definitely gives us. I mean, we can go Boyd and Chase. Just say screw it. No
so Ben, final spot gives us 37. So we know, just to throw this out there, that Stafford would be a super popular one in this build.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jamar Chase. What are you thinking?
I think that Stafford is fine in the sense that I don't think that Boyd as a 4-1 run back is going to be relatively popular. Like I don't see that being a really popular build. So I think that's the obvious choice.
Can I say something too? if you play Stafford there, this is what makes this build actually pretty interesting. You have $7 left. Boyd is 17, Higgins is 24, which means that would give people the ability to get up to Higgins, which is going to clearly be a lot more popular.
Again, that's what I'm saying. There's like some leverage. So I think you could go Mixon as well if you wanted a 3-2. No quarterbacks, which is the interesting part about the lineup. So there's ways to do it. Cutback captain is going to be very popular, but as we all pointed out, we're not paying a tax on it. It's hard to argue with it. He's just so good, and he has such a high percentage of ultimately being the guy you want in the 1.5x.
Is there any viability to going 2 pass catchers with Kupp at captain, 2 pass catchers from the Rams without Matthew Stafford?
In the sense it'll be different, but I also think you're starting to kill your own outs. Like if they have a huge game, you're going to need Stafford.
I agree. You know, another thing too, and I'm not saying this is optimal, but if you were to throw Van Jefferson in there over Odell Beckham, you're leaving a ton of salary on the table. And that's just going to be something that people aren't doing. Like you still have the correlation with Stafford and 2 of his pass catchers, which isn't crazy at all. You have Boyd, who is not Higgins or Chase, because you can now get up to Higgins or Chase with that remaining salary. Everyone's going to do that. And Rams defense. Maybe on Yahoo, as we just kind of work through this now, Jordan, I'm not saying in every lineup, obviously, but if you're trying to actually win real money instead of just min cashing or tying with a bunch of people, leaving salary on the table seems like it could be a very wise move on Yahoo.
Oh yeah, especially when like it feels like we're just like picking whatever lineup we want with Cooper Kupp as a part of it. Like that's a scary sight to see. I think with our lineup, we could have also just kept Burrow, and everybody's been talking about his over and rushing yards. Like if he got into the end zone rushing, like he could raw point outscore Stafford, and having 2 pass catchers without Stafford and then Boyd and Burrow, I think that could be a very viable lineup build that would be a little bit unique, especially since he still could afford T. Higgins and stuff like that.
All right, boys. That was a valuable exercise. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Did I have anything else to plug before we go? I'm sure I did. Oh, I know. Not just the Odd Shopper channel, which I've already done, but Ben, all of these states are opening things up. Yeah, Louisiana, New York, lots of promos, lots of free bets. Deposit match bonuses up to $1,500. Good stuff going on around that way.
It's great. And I can speak from someone that just went through this as a New Yorker. You're overwhelmed. There's a lot of books, a lot of different deals. We have articles and videos on Odd Shopper. They tell you exactly what the bonus entails, how much equity, what type of bet you should make. It's stuff that's really, really helpful. Of course, you don't have to do it, but if you are going to sign up for some of these books, you might as well get the most bang for your buck. And I know Alex and the team did a great job explaining all the different offers because there's a million. My TV is just one ad after another right now in New York. It's crazy how much the books are competing for your business.
No doubt about it. Oh, and one more thing. NASCAR. People love DFS NASCAR. I dabbled too.
Fun, dude.
I don't know shit about it, but I just use our tools. And we have some great analysts out there as well that really get into it. But Daytona's right around the corner. Now you get Awesemo plus NASCAR package for less than $2 per race. That's $70 for an entire year of Awesemo plus NASCAR. Gives you the driver projections, ownership projections, top drivers tool. I'm telling you, that's like the most valuable one. You listen to any of the pros on our site, you ask them what they do to win a lot of these. Like MMA, Steve Buzzard always, I use the top fighters tool, right? The top drivers tool, the top golfers tool, the top plays tool for showdown slates for football and basketball and all of that stuff. It's a highly valuable tool, including the ownership projections, the driver projections, all of that stuff. It's everything you need to get an edge playing NASCAR DFS. So use the promo Green Flag, all one word, all caps. Green Flag. You can go to check. Actually, they say go to checkout. First of all, you can click the link in the description, but I believe it should be this way. Instead of doing it at checkout, I think you can just go to awesemo.com/promos and let's see if it pops up. Boom, green flag. Look at that. Simple as that. You don't need to type in anything. You just click a button. So if you're getting in on some NASCAR action, take advantage of that. Let's finish this out, boys. Final score. I want to hear from you guys in chat too. We still got 150 people watching on a Tuesday. Final score. So we can all talk shit when we end up being right at the end of all of this. Final score to this game. I'm going first. Rams 27, Bengals 17. And I don't even know if it'll be that close. It's a little, I know I'm reaching a little bit, but 27-17 Rams. I got to stick with what I've been saying for the past week. What do you got, Jordan?
21-17 Rams taking it.
Okay. So you don't have them covering right now, as a matter of fact.
No.
It's at 4.5. Ben, what do you got?
First thing, I'm interested. You both kind of lean that it'll be somewhat methodical scoring.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think the Rams have that difficult of a time scoring. I mean, 27 points is a decent amount of points.
No, but for the total of the game, I mean.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Like the total's sitting at 48.5.
Unless I do think, there could be some defensive scores, worries me a little bit, but yeah, 27-17, that's coming on the under. What do you have?
I'm going to say Rams 31, Bengals 13.
Oh, okay.
I think they get rolled too. I really do.
Okay. So we're on the same page coming into this one.
We are. But I mean, I thought there was, not that I bet it, but no chance that the Bengals could go into Arrowhead and win. So the Bengals have proved me wrong multiple times already this postseason. They're a great team, but I don't see it.
I teased that to 14.5. So I had faith that they wouldn't get blown out.
Yeah.
But
I wanted to bet the Chiefs, and I ultimately held off. I couldn't get in live because the Chiefs were rolling.
Right.
So it was fine. It worked out good that I passed, but just very impressive team, but I don't see it.
I sometimes feel like these Cinderella stories don't always end in glory. You know what I mean? You get there, everything looks great. I mean, how can they lose now? And then they get shit on. That's the way I'm playing it. Jordan, been a good season, man. Appreciate you hanging with us all year long, dude. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's been a good time. Hopefully we don't look like the memes where it's like, oh, these guys picked the Rams, and it's like Bengals 31, Rams 13.
I'm fine with it, dude. It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah. At least I would have got the score right. I just had it in reverse, so I'll just say that to my credit.
Ben, always a good season, man. What do you got coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I love the NFL like everyone else, but I will say, the minute the Super Bowl ends, college basketball starts to rise in my book. You'll have conference tournaments, and then we have March Madness. We're going to have you covered from every angle. We'll get Jordan involved. We got Mac Kajeski and myself. NBA's heating up, so we're a one-stop shop here at Awesemo. It's our favorite thing. One season ends, another one begins. PGA will get revved up, so I'm really, really excited for football to end in that sense, but I'll also miss it as well.
And Steven says, I don't see the Bengals getting stomped unless my eyes have been lying, which only happens in bars. I should say, I think the Bengals are legitimately good. I'm not calling them, a fluke. I just think this matchup with the Rams is the toughest matchup they get in the postseason, hands down. That's all. All right. John says Cincinnati's not going to kick a field goal when they're down by 7. Does that have something to do with like a score prediction? I don't know. You can kick a field goal in the first quarter too. So,
Yeah.
What's that?
I agree with that. I don't know if it's relevant
true.
to the scores.
Right. Dude, didn't they kick a field goal in the first quarter last game when they were down by like 18? I mean, or before they went down by 18? You can kick field goals early in the game. All right. Anyway, thanks for hanging out as always to all you guys in chat. If you are watching this after the fact, hit us with a comment down below. I always try to read them and respond to them. Let us know what you think happens. Give us your favorite props for the game. We'll be back here breaking down all of the best props, all of the best bets on Friday, having some fun on Thursday night as well. Lots of stuff coming down the pike. And tomorrow, ownership show, Matt Kajeski, Eric Lindquist, myself. We got a lot. And then it all culminates with the 3.5-hour show leading up to kickoff for the Super Bowl. We'll see you guys back here soon. Follow Jordan at Jordan Vanek DFS, Ben at Ben, or Jazzraz DFS, me at Loughy_D. Peace.
Oh man.